This is Emma and welcome to our gentle Vinyasa for self-care. As always, please listen to your body. Don't do anything in this practice that doesn't feel good for you. Feel free to skip sections, adapt sections, change sections, do whatever you need to do so it works for you. You can begin sitting, kneeling or standing, palms facing up or forward. Simple movement to begin. We're breathing in, bringing our hands to prayer at our heart, and breathing out, lowering them back down. So on your inhale, hands to prayer at the heart, and on the exhale, release the hands back down. Maybe close your eyes while you're doing this, and really try to link the breath to the movement. So you want your palms to meet at the very top of the inhale, and you want your hands to reach the bottom of the movement at the very bottom of the exhale. Just working in your own time with your own breath and your own body. We're just taking a moment to center and land on our mats. The next time your hands are in prayer at your heart, we'll stay there and we'll add on to this movement. Open your hands like you're opening a book. Point the fingers towards you, backs of the hands come together, and then reach the hands down and then out in front, round out your spine, chin to the chest. Reverse that movement, fingertips to the floor, fingers point back to the heart, and release the hands back down. So hands come to prayer, you open the palms like you're opening a book, fingers towards you, backs of the hands together, fingers to the floor, reach forward, round out the spine, and then hands return towards you and back down. So we're inhaling, bringing hands to prayer, exhaling, reach and round the spine, breathe in, return, and breathe out, release. So this is just going to be, again, on your own time, working with your own breath. And here we start to bring in this idea of gathering energy from the world around us, so giving to ourselves first. Sharing from our heart to space, and noticing that this energy gets returned to us. So that idea of giving to ourselves before sharing from our heart with others. Noticing this actually gets returned to us. 2 more rounds like this. So finish off the round that you're on, and we'll meet back in our starting position. Coming onto all fours now, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and we'll move into a few rounds of cat-cow. So rounding out the spine, tucking in the chin, and arching the back, lifting the tailbone, pressing the heart forward. Rounding out the spine, cat pose, and arching the back for cow pose. We'll actually start to move this backwards and forwards. So as you round out your spine, we're shifting the hips back towards the heels, almost to child's pose. And then as you arch the back, maybe you bend the elbows slightly as you come forward. So rounding out the spine to come back, cat pose. And arching the back to come forward, cow pose. 2 more like this. Making this your last one. And we'll meet back up on all fours. Now we'll take our right leg out to the side and we'll come into that same movement. So rounding out the spine, coming back, And then arching, lifting the hips, coming forward. So you're in control of how deeply you're working into this adductor, this inner thigh, by how far back you choose to bring your hips. Maybe breathing out as you round out the spine and move the hips back. And maybe breathing in as you travel forward. The next time your hips are sinking back, choose a position that feels good for your body, and we'll stay here for 3 breaths. So maybe reaching the hands out in front, maybe head comes down. 3 breaths, breathing into the back of your body. Lifting the hips and shoulders, coming back up. Uncurling the left arm up to the ceiling and coming into a twist. So thread the left hand between the right hand and the body. And we're not staying here, straight away breathe in, reach back up. So breathe out, twist, almost like you're trying to touch your right big toe with your left fingers. And breathe in, uncurl up towards the sky. One more like this. Breathe out to thread. Breathe in to reach. And this time thread through and we'll stay here. So maybe you can bring the left side of your head to the floor. And maybe you can even hold on to that right big toe. Couple of options with the right hand. Maybe reaching it out in front and pressing into the floor. Or maybe taking the hand around behind you. Just whichever option feels best for you. You've got 3 more breaths here. Really thinking about rotating your chest up towards the ceiling. Slowly making your way out of this position. Left hand uncurls all the way up to the ceiling. And then release it back down. Walk both hands around to the left. Left hand is in line with the left knee, which is in line with the right foot. And the right arm reaches up and over. So a modified version of side plank here. Create some lift through the bottom shoulder. And press your right side rib cage up towards the ceiling, like you're making a rainbow shape with your spine. From here, we'll come to gate pose. So up and over, right hand to the right leg, left hand reaches. Press your left side rib cage out towards the left. Think about breathing into the spaces between the ribs on the left side. Sink the hips back, circle the arms round in front, come to modified side plank, right arm reaching overhead, rib cage pressing to the sky. Gate pose, come up and over, left hand reaches. We'll do this twice more. Sink the hips, circle the arms, big breath in for side plank. Breathe out as you transition. Inhale for gate pose and exhale, sweep the hands, circle. Breathe in, side plank. Breathe out, gate pose. Inhale here and exhale, circle. This time we'll come back to the center, bring the hands out in front. And take your right leg over and maybe even off the left side of your mat. Tuck your toes under, lean your hips to the right, look over your left shoulder. So big opening through the right side of the body here. back to the center, back to all fours. Same thing, tiny bit different. This time we're inhaling as we come forward in cow and exhaling as we come back in cat. So breathing in to come forward, arching the back. Breathing out, coming back. And now we'll reverse this movement. So your exhale, your cat pose brings you forward, and your inhale, your cow pose brings you back. So it's the opposite to what we did before. Rounding out the spine to come forward, and arching the back as you shift the hips back, almost back into child's pose. Making this your last one, and then we'll come into that sequence on the other side. So now it's your left leg that will come out to the side, maybe even placing the foot flat on the floor. You're rounding out your spine, tucking in your chin, cat pose to come forward, and cow pose to come back. So rounding the spine to come forward, breathing out, and inhaling as you shift back. Again, you're in control of how deeply you're getting into this pose by how far you choose to move your hips back. And the next time you shift your hips back, just choose somewhere that feels good, and we're going to hold here for a couple of breaths. Just wherever you feel like you're getting a nice opening through that left inner thigh. Maybe the hands can move forward, maybe the head can rest down. 3 breaths here. Lift the hips and shoulders. We're coming to our twist. This time it's the right arm that lifts up. And then thread through, reach towards the left big toe. So breathe in as you reach the right arm up towards the sky. And breathe out as you thread it underneath you. 2 more like this. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, thread. And this will be your last one. So breathe in, reach. Breathe out, thread through, and we'll stay here. So maybe even bringing the right side of the head to the floor. And then seeing where feels good for this left arm. It might be out in front, or it might be wrapping around behind you. Really reaching for the big toe with the right fingertips. 3 breaths here. Imagine you're breathing into the back of your body. Slowly bringing yourself back up, and we'll come into that modified version of side plank. So hand, knee and foot are all in one line. Left arm reaches up and over. Press the rib cage up towards the ceiling like you're making that rainbow shape with your spine. Create some lift out of the bottom shoulder. And come into gate pose. Bring the arms up and over. Left hand to the left leg. Right hand reaches. Breathing into the right side rib cage. Feel like you're almost turning your chest up slightly towards the ceiling. Sink the hips back, sweep the hands round, come to modified side plank. Bring the arms up and over, gate pose. Sink the hips, sweep the arms, side plank. And we'll take 2 more like this. So breathe in here. Breathe out, transition. Inhale, open. Exhale, sweep, hands come round in front. So breathe in, side plank. Breathe out. Inhale, gate pose. Exhale, circle. Last time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Circle the hands round. Come into modified side plank. And from here, walk your hands back round in front. The left leg comes across and maybe even off the right side of the mat. Tuck the toes under. Look over the right shoulder. Lean the hips over to the left. Making your way back to all fours, tucking the toes under, lifting the hips. We're coming into downward facing dog. And you can have a little bit of movement here, pedaling out the feet, moving the hips, whatever kind of feels good for you. Try to think about creating a straight line from your wrists all the way up to your hips. So if you find your line is a little broken at the shoulders, you can bend the knees to be able to move the chest back further. If you find your line is broken a little bit the other way, you might need to turn your armpits towards each other a little bit more and come out of the pose a little bit. Think about pressing your hands towards the top of your mat. Take a breath in now, lift your heels, tippy toes. Breathe out, drop your knees to the floor. Inhale to open the heart, lifting the tail. Exhale, cat, and then tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. We'll do this twice more. Breathing in, tiptoes. Breathing out, knees down. Inhale, open the heart, forward and up. Exhale, round the spine, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. One more like this. Inhale, heels. Exhale, knees. Breathe in, open. Breathe out, round the spine, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. From here, make your way up to the top of your mat. So we're coming to Uttanasana, forward fold. You can have your feet apart for this one, but try to bring some connection between your upper body and your lower body. So your chest or your tummy are touching your thighs. That's just going to give a little bit of extra support to your low back. Make sure you've relaxed through the back of your neck, so maybe nod your head like yes, and maybe shake your head like no. Bringing the hands to the shins now, come to a halfway lift. So straight arms, straight legs and a flat back. Sink the hips down like you're about to sit into a small chair, and then reach the arms up, press into the heels, come to stand, and release the hands back down to the sides. We're in Tadasana, mountain pose. Breathe in, bring your hands to prayer at the heart. Breathe out, open the hands like you're opening a book, fingers towards you, reach, round out the spine, bend the knees. Inhale, return, and exhale, release. 2 more rounds like this, your own time, your own breath. Taking advantage of the energy that is around you, gathering it towards yourself, sharing from your heart with others, and noticing how this energy is returned to you in kind. When you've finished your second round, meeting back in Tadasana, and we'll move on. Breathe in, reach the arms forward and up, and breathe out, forward fold, Uttanasana. Hands to shins on an inhale, hands to the floor on an exhale, and we'll step our right foot back. So I'll do the same side as you now. Turn the back foot flat and climb up onto your front knee. We're coming into warrior one. So chest and shoulders point forward and you're grounding down through the outside edge of that back foot. We'll begin with palms forward, fingers extending to the floor. Try to create an even weight distribution between the front foot and the back foot. Inhale, hands to prayer. Exhale, open the book, reach and round. Breathe in, return. Breathe out, release. 2 more rounds like this. Just your own time, your own breath. Really trying to connect each part of the movement with either the inhale or the exhale. Last time. We'll meet back in warrior one. And this time, reach your arms up towards the sky. Open your heart slightly, and then hands frame the front foot. Lift the back heel, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale to lift your heels. Exhale to drop your knees. Breathe in to open the heart, lift the tail. And breathe out, round the spine, tuck the toes, lift the hips. 2 more of these, just your own time, your own breath. So heels, knees, heart, and then coming back to downward facing dog. 1 more time. Meeting back in downward facing dog, taking any little extra movements you might like to here. Coming to Uttanasana, forward fold at the top of your mat. Hands to shins on an inhale. Sink the hips on an exhale like you're sitting into a very small chair. Reach the arms forward and up, push through the heels. And release Tadasana, mountain pose. Straight away, breathe in, hands to prayer. Open the book, reach and round, bend the knees. Inhale, return. Exhale, release. 2 more, your own time, your own breath. When you've finished your second round, we'll meet back in Tadasana. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Breathe out, hands to the floor. This time it's your left leg that's going to step back. Turn the back toes out, climb on up to your front leg, sink the hips down. Even weight between front and back foot. Shoulders facing the top of your mat. Inhale, hands to prayer. Open the book, reach and round the spine as you exhale. Breathe in, return. And breathe out, release. 2 more like this. Meeting back in warrior one with arms lifted overhead this time. Tiny back bend, lift your heart up, and then hands frame the front foot, lift your back heel, step back, downward facing dog. Breathe in, heels lift. Breathe out, knees to the floor. Inhale to open the heart. Exhale, cat and dog. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. 2 more of these. Breathing in for heels. Breathing out for knees. Inhale to open. And exhale, round the spine. Lift lift the hips, downward facing dog. One more, just your own time, your own breath. Meeting back in downward facing dog and taking any movement that might feel good in your downward dog. In your own time, make your way to the top of your mat, coming to Uttanasana, forward fold. Hands to the shins on an inhale, halfway lift. Sink the hips down and back as you exhale. Breathe in and reach the arms forward and up. Breathe out, Tadasana, mountain pose. Hands to prayer. Open the book, reach and around. Inhale, return. Exhale, release. 2 more like this. Meeting back in Tadasana, in mountain pose. Breathe in, reach the arms up. And breathe out, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor, right foot steps back. Turn the back toes out, back foot is flat. Warrior 1, lift yourself up. 3 rounds here, hands to prayer. Open the book, reach and round. Inhale, return. And exhale, lower. 2 more times, gathering the energy, holding it in your heart, sharing from your heart with others, and noticing how this is returned to you. But the most important part is that we're giving this energy to ourselves first. It's that idea that you can't pour from an empty cup. Inhale, reach the arms. Exhale, lift the back heel, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Straight away, inhale, heels, exhale, knees. Breathe in, open. Breathe out, cat and dog. 2 more like this. Just your own time, your own breath now. And if there's another vinyasa that you would prefer to take, feel free to do that instead. We will meet back in downward facing dog. A little bit different this time, bring the big toes to touch. And lift the right leg up high, 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, roll the hip open. Like you're trying to kick your heel towards your backside. Optional, see if you can come up onto your right fingertips and look underneath your right armpit. You do not have to add this on, it is a little bit more challenging. Drive the right knee up towards the ceiling, make the knee your highest point, and then plant the hand. If it's lifted, look forward, step that right foot in between. Little bit of a balance challenge, stepping on the right foot, bend into the right leg, bring the left knee into the chest. We're coming into tree pose. So now your left foot can come onto your thigh. I'm just going to turn this way for you, and I think I'll mirror you again. So left foot can be on the thigh, the calf, or down on the floor in kickstand. It's your choice, whatever works for you. Might just depend if you're having a wobbly day or not. Palms facing forward. Inhale, hands to prayer at the heart. Exhale, open, reach and round. Breathe in, return. Breathe out, release. 2 more times. Last one. Meeting back in tree pose. Lift the arms up high. Really reach out through your fingertips and we'll come into a side bend. So left hand down, right hand up and over. Again, we're making that rainbow shape with our spine. I once had a teacher say that falling down is human and getting back up is yoga. Release now. Maybe shake out that right foot, coming straight to the other side. So inhale, hands to prayer at the heart. Exhale, open, reach and round. Make sure you bend the knees. Inhale, return. And exhale, release. 2 more like this. Inhale, reaching the arms forward and up. Exhale, draw the thumbs down the midline of your body, forward fold. Hands to shins on an inhale. Hands to the floor on an exhale. This time it's your left foot stepping back. Turn the toes out, back foot flat. Coming up, warrior one. Shoulders point forward. Inhale, hands to prayer. Exhale, open, reach and around. Make sure you're grounding down through the outside edge of that left foot. 2 more rounds of this. The more you reach forward, the more challenging this will be. We will meet back in warrior one, lifting the arms up overhead here. Little back bend, heart reaches up. And then hands frame the front foot, lift the back heel, step back, downward facing dog. Trying to find that straight line between your wrists and your hips. So inhale for the heels, exhale for the knees. Breathe in to open, breathe out cat and dog, lift the hips. 2 more, your own time, your own breath. Try to take the whole inhale to lift the heels. The whole exhale to bring the knees to the floor. So using the whole breath for the movement. Last round. Meeting back in downward facing dog. And bringing the big toes together. Second side, left leg lifts up, 3-legged dog. Bend the knee and roll the hip open. Press the chest back towards that supporting leg. Maybe looking underneath the left armpit and coming up onto the left fingertips. This is optional, you do not have to add this on. Really drive the left knee high. The knee is your highest point. Look forward, step the left foot in between the hands, maybe lift up that left hand just before you place the foot. Balance work, bringing the right knee into the chest. And from here we're coming to tree pose. So I will turn to face you and mirror you again. So right knee is in, we're turning it out towards the right. Foot comes on the thigh, the calf, or down on the floor. Just not right on the knee would be most important. Palms point forward, hip bones also point forward. Inhale, hands to prayer. Exhale, open, reach and round. Breathe in, return. And breathe out, release. 2 more of these. Meeting back in tree pose when you've finished your rounds. Adding on that side bend, lifting the arms up. And then a right arm comes down, left hand reaches over, making that rainbow shape with your spine. Keep feeling like you're turning your chest up towards the ceiling. Releasing, coming back to Tadasana, mountain pose at the top of your mat. For the last time standing here, inhale, hands to prayer. Exhale, open, reach and round, bend the knees. Breathe in, return. Breathe out, release. 2 more, your own time, your own breath. Inhaling, reaching the arms up, and exhaling, forward fold. Breathe in for a halfway lift, and breathe out, hands to the floor. This time, both feet walk back, and we'll end up in downward facing dog. Last round of these, so inhaling for heels, exhaling for knees, breathing in to open. Breathe out, round the spine, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. 2 more times, your own breath. Last one. Meeting back in downward facing dog. This time we'll inhale, lift the heels. Exhale to lower the knees. Keep the feet like this. Walk your hands back. We'll come into a version of camel. So right hand to right ankle, left arm reaches up, and we're actually looking back behind ourselves, looking back to that right ankle. Just like we did in our warm-up, sink the hips back, sweep the hands around in a circle, left hand to left ankle, look back towards the left leg. So breathe in here, breathe out, sink the hips, circle the arms. Inhale to open, exhale to sweep. 3 more times, so breathe in 3, breathe out, inhale 2, exhale sweep, and this will be your last one, so inhale open, and exhale release. Come onto all fours, untuck your toes, give your feet a little tap. And then sweep your feet around to one side. Come to sit. Just working into our core just a little bit before we come down onto the floor. Cup your hands over your knees. Round out the spine as you come back. We're making like the letter C with our spine. Bring your right arm up in line with your right ear. Press your belly button in towards your spine. Release the right hand down. Same thing with the left arm. Really try to get the bicep as close to in line with the ear as you can. Release it down. Let's try 2 arms. So you'll know you're in the right position with your spine because your feet will get very light on the mat all of a sudden. Release it down. Do all of that again. Right arm lifts up. See if you can get the bicep in line with the ear or close. Lower it down. Left arm, same thing. Lower it down. Last time, 2 arms. See if you can get them in line with the ears. Press the belly button in towards the spine. Notice if the feet are getting a little bit light on the floor. And release, coming to sit. Make sure you have enough room behind you. Reach the arms out in front and lower it down. Bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. Few options for this reclined pigeon. Either just bring the knees towards you and then maybe use the right hand to press the right knee away. Or if you want to add on, right hand comes in between, left hand comes around the outside, and hands can go on the thigh or on the shin. You choose whichever version works best for you. If you are using both arms, then use the strength of the arms to bring the knees in closer and use the right elbow to gently press the right knee away. That's going to help you get in a little bit deeper to the outside of that right hip. 3 more breaths here. Bring the left foot to the floor. And to start out with, both our legs will go to the left, so the right foot will actually come flat to the floor. Use your left hand, press your right knee away from you. Just place that right arm anywhere that feels comfortable. Working again into the outside of this right leg, maybe into the ITB, the outside band of the right leg. Press the elbows into the floor, fingers to the sky. Don't change the legs, take them up and over, use the elbows. They're going over to the right now. So coming into a twist. So maybe reaching the left arm out to the side. Right hand can go anywhere that feels comfortable, maybe onto that right knee. See if you can turn your head to look towards your left hand. If this doesn't feel good on the hip or the back, then you just unhook the right ankle. Closing the eyes, 3 breaths here. Unhook the right ankle if it's hooked. Bring it back to the center. Make sure you are in a straight line on your mat, and we'll come to the other side. So left ankle on top of right knee, and maybe it's enough just to squeeze the legs in using this right knee. If you want to add on, you can press away with the left hand, or you can reach the left hand between your legs. Right hand comes round the outside and hands either go on the thigh or the shin. If you are using the arms, then use the strength of the arms to bring the knees closer and use the left elbow to press the left knee away. See if you can connect your whole spine to the floor. So from the base of your neck all the way down to your sacrum, so the back of your pelvis touching the floor. 3 breaths here. Bring the right foot to the floor and both knees drop to the right to start off with. So the sole of the left foot comes onto the floor, and maybe you can use your right hand to gently press the left knee away. So working into the outside edge of the left leg. Press the elbows into the floor, hands to the sky. Use the elbows, bring the legs up and over. Don't change them, they go straight over to the left. Maybe you want to reach the right arm towards the right, maybe the left hand onto the left knee. Remember, you can always unhook this left ankle if it's not feeling good on your hip or on your back. See how it feels to turn your head away from the knees, turning your head to the right, and take 3 deep breaths here. Unhook the left ankle, bring it back to the center, and we'll come into some variations of happy baby. So maybe you just want to pull the knees towards the armpits, take a little rock from side to side. If you want to add on, hands can come underneath the knees or on the backs of the knees. Adding on from here, we see if we can bring our shins up vertical. So soles of the feet are horizontal and shins are vertical. And then to add on from here, you could hold on to the ankles or even the outside edges of your feet. Whichever option you choose, then what you're doing with your arms is the same. You're bringing your knees towards your armpits. And just like we did in our reclined pigeon, see if you can bring your whole spine in contact with the floor. So from the back of the neck all the way down to the sacrum, the very back of the pelvis. Coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly, soles of the feet together, feet to the floor. Take a hold of opposite elbows, bring the arms onto the floor up above your head, and just let everything relax here. So using the weight of the knees to open you out through your hips and your inner thighs. The very fact that you've put on this video and have taken this time for yourself is an act of self-care. Just taking a moment to notice how your body is feeling. Taking a moment to notice how you are feeling. Perhaps the eyes could be closed here if that feels okay. Taking a final 3 deep breaths in this position. And then moving into our final pose, which is Shavasana. So legs out long, feet flopping open, hands are a little bit away from your body, palms are turned up. Just take a moment to fold the shoulder blades in together underneath you, creating a little bit of extra opening across your heart. Take any little adjustments or changes that you need in your body, and then settle in. Remembering all the different positions and poses that we've done in this class. Picturing all these different shapes like snippets, like particles in a snow globe that's just been shaken up. And now as we lay in stillness, you're allowing these particles to slowly settle into your body. Just taking a couple of moments here. And now starting to breathe a little bit more deeply. Bringing some small movements back to your fingers and your toes, maybe even your wrists and your ankles. Moving and stretching your body in a way that feels good for you. Eventually bringing the knees into the chest. And starting to make some little movements with your low back. So some circles or some rocks side to side. Eventually rocking yourself over all the way onto one side. And from here pressing into the floor to make your way up to sit in whatever way feels comfortable for you. Finishing our class with 3 more rounds of this breath and movement pattern. Inhaling, hands to prayer at the heart. Open the palms towards you, reach and round. Return and release. 2 more. When you finish that last round, just sitting with a tall, straight spine. Again, just noticing how you feel. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. Namaste.